maybe a couple of different reasons combined. The price of oil per barrel has come back down, $10, $15 a barrel in some cases. Now, it still needs to drop some more. We're in the 80s and 90s. When this started, we were around $61, $62 for the low earlier in the year. But guys, again, the price is coming down and not going up, and that's a good sign. But if you remember yesterday, if anybody watched it, Pete Hegseth said that today would be the most severe day of bombing since the war began. Now, something has really got them going. I know they've reelected the Ayatollah's youngest son, I think it is, to replace him. Someone said, or someone in an article said, that he had already been wounded. And Trump's not very happy about it because he was trying to get the Iranian people out from under the mullahs and get someone in there like the ex-president or somebody that is going to be fair to the citizens and make the country prosper and not be a terrorist state spreading it worldwide. And I've mentioned this before, but in the comments, every once in a while, someone will say, just name one war that Iran has started. And you kind of want to slap your head over the stupid comment because you don't realize when you say that the Houthis, Hamas, and Hezbollah are Iranian warriors. They're proxy armies.
It might be.
So Iranian mullahs can sit there until now safe and sound and send.
All right. Let's get going. It's 2:45. The Dow is, in the green. Everything's slightly in the green. Okay, there's the quotes. Railtown's 37 cents. So it does look like Ricky's purple line is holding and being climbed. Help is 102, HOP. Finger down 3 cents at 120. GDC is up 10 cents at 392. I guess Bitcoin's up a bit. Nixie, I'm not sure that has anything to do with it. That's the story, but I don't know what to say. Nixie's up a penny at 53 cents. So Railtown's 37 cents, 36.5 to 37.4, 109,000 shares. We are at 18,292,536 shares, 18,292,000. It'd be great if we get higher, but that's a heck of a position you guys have. And it shows that you're, as I've said before, you're becoming professional investors. You're learning how the pros do it. All right, let's see what we have here. Well, there's not much there. I'm going to go over one thing, and then hopefully I can carry it. Enough will go on in questions or whatever to carry it further. But I thought it was really interesting earlier or last night or early in the morning or whenever I saw that Telus had a news story driven by Apple. Sorry, not Apple, AOL. And I don't know what AOL's doing now, if they're now a financial advisory firm, or they're just trying to create a competitor. I don't know. Anyway, it popped up, and I'll show it to you. I'm so tired. I haven't slept a wink. And I curse Sir Walter Raleigh. He was such a stupid kid. No, no, no. I'm so tired. All right, so this is AOL. This is Today, written by William Temple. And what's amazing is sometimes I emphasize, we do, I'm not taking credit, emphasize the right things. This was written yesterday. Telus' CEO's parting shot, $2 billion in AI revenue by 2028. Where have you heard that before? Is the number he wants investors to remember. I can't sleep. I give you everything you want. All right, Telus targets 2 billion AI revenue by 2028 from 800 million Q4, up 44%. I don't know. I don't know what. It's hard for me to read that. It's so small. I think it says 229 million free cash flow. Partnering with NVIDIA and et cetera. Outgoing CEO Darren Entwistle used his final earnings call to reframe Telus around AI infrastructure and Telus healthcare. The analyst who called NVIDIA, okay, the top 10, I printed that. I didn't print it out, I have it. It's interesting that Telus is being mentioned as the preface to an article of the top 10 AI stocks. Anyway, Darren Entwistle spent 26 years building Telus into something more than a phone company. His final earnings call as CEO, February 12th, made one thing crystal clear. He's handing over an organization that has quietly become a serious AI business. The AI revenue story nobody is talking about. The headline number from Entwistle's call wasn't the revenue miss. It was this, quote, AI enabling capabilities revenue targeted to grow from 800 million last year to approximately 2 billion in 2028 across both Telus Digital and Telus Business Solutions, including important contributions from our sovereign AI factories. I know we discovered this first, but it's pretty affirming to see it in black and white. AI enabling capabilities revenue targeted to grow from circa 800 million to 2 billion in 2028 across Telus Digital and Telus Business Solutions, including important contributions from our sovereign AI factories. That's not a vague aspiration. In Q4 last year alone, AI enabling capabilities revenue increased to 229 million and grew 35% for the full year. The engine is real and accelerating. The quote, sovereign AI factories angle is genuinely interesting. It seems like this article's written by the same people I query. Who the hell uses genuinely that much? Entwistle noted that Telus held on to legacy data centers in Rimouski and Kamloops that peers sold off, and has since converted them into sovereign AI infrastructure with a minimum amount of capital investment. Add on NVIDIA partnership that gives Telus advantaged access to chips and pricing, and you have a differentiated position most telecom investors have not priced in. Entwistle was equally direct about Telus healthcare revenue. Let's skip the whole thing. Telus is now actively exploring a strategic partnership for the unit. The investment we made is going to yield significant multiples. That's the healthcare side. Telus reported Q4 revenue of over $5 billion. Full year free cash flow hit $2.2 billion. For 2026, guidance calls for free cash flow of approximately $2.45 billion and capital expenditures of $2.3 billion. That combination of growing cash and falling capex reflects a deleveraging trend. But Telus AI revenue trajectory and Telus healthcare monetization potential reflect a different growth narrative, one that Entwistle spent his final call making sure investors understood before handing the keys to CEO Victor Dodig. This guy Dodig is Merrill Lynch and other places, but he's a financial guy. So there's going to be deleveraging. And then this NVIDIA, Wall Street is pouring billions into AI. The analyst who'd identified NVIDIA has 10 stocks. I have them here. If we run out of time, we can go over the 10 stocks. Alternatively, you can go look up Telus News, find the article, and get the stocks for free. The bid on Railtown is 36.5. So I think we've pretty clearly made it through the winter doldrums. And I think you're going to see reward for all of this time. Volume hasn't much changed, 119,750. All right, let's go down. Pete, OPA. Nice position, by the way, Pete, that you have. Chestnut. I love that dog. Big hug. Hi, Steve. Steve says, hi, Uncle Bill. Darren Collins says, Sir William. Pete the Greek, USA kills 165 girls. Disgusting. Yeah, you saw my reaction. Hegseth thinks that Iran did it. Who knows? It's war, but it's horrible. And we all have to be in the position that we have to wish the best and the best result, because this, it's already spiraled, but it could really spiral out of control. There may be a real argument that this is about extinguishing the British Empire. Could be. It could be that it's also a attempt to back China off. But what you just pointed out is so horrible. And if you just take what the media is reporting, the actions are so stupid that there must be something else going on. Things aren't going back to the way they were, that's for sure. And it'll test the thesis if the United States really is sufficient in oil, self-sufficient in oil. I don't think we are. It's a shame. I wanted to build a position in, and I still will if I can, even if it's small, in oil-based assets, because for the rest of your lives, with the possible exception of a worldwide crash this year or next, for the rest of your lives, oil is going to be 250, 300, 500, 600 a barrel. Gasoline will be $10, $20 a gallon. And people who live in the city don't need cars. That's going to be valuable. That's one of the reasons I bought my house where I did. I don't own it anymore. Seems like the preparations I made for this day had to be taken away from me. So I'm going in it naked as anybody else. But it's pretty dramatic. I don't know the answer. And so I guess we just have to, all we can do is try to make sure that each of us treats our accounts as if we are a central bank. You want to own physical silver primarily, but gold, platinum. We're probably going to have to go to miners because we missed the easy part. Although I still think silver is a double or triple from here. It's going to be much more volatile. And obviously, if you had bought it at $25, you buy a hell of a lot more ounces than you do at $100. But we got to deal with it each day where it is in the cycle. Oil was kind of a quiet, ignored secret, mostly because our educational system went woke. And it's largely a feminine thing, but it's the beta male thing too. Truth isn't as important as consensus. And consensus was, and in many places still is, that hydrocarbons are destroying the planet, and therefore we can just wish it away and we won't be using oil by 2035. And then so the investment in further oil production went down, and insane allocation of resources went to electric vehicles without knowing that electric vehicles were going to win the game. I personally think Matt Simmons' focus on ammonia from the offshore windmills uh, was much more uh, uh, fruitful, or could have been much more fruitful, because ammonia can burn like gasoline, and so you didn't have to change a whole lot. And it's as the windmills take seawater and do whatever it's called, electrolysis, part of the waste is fresh water and the other part is ammonia, and you burn ammonia. Toyota picked up on that, but otherwise our woke governments just decided it's going to be electric vehicles. Well, I don't know, it may still be, but I don't think there's any evidence that electric vehicles have saved the planet. Electricity, and this is what these young people in academia, who don't think it through, to produce electricity, it's coal. To build a nuclear power plant, you burn fossil fuels. And nuclear power, by the way, is not clean. And it's not cheap. If it were, they'd be everywhere. There's a lot of externalities, and many of which we can never understand, that could change our DNA for all time. But no one wants to seek truth. They want to seek, how does that make you feel? And let's get along. The governor of Virginia doesn't want it's now against the law, or soon will be, to question the narrative of the J6. It's a very feminine thing, and that's our future. It's our future. It's very socialist. It's very communist. That's very Stalinist. But that's our future. So how do you get away from it? You make sure that you have assets. You don't owe the system a lot of money, and everything you own is either a direct asset, or it's an asset that you know is ownership of hard assets, income from oil and gas, for example. That's what's going to keep you safe as we go through just craziness. And anyway, I don't know. I had hoped we'd have more time, but everything in the world speeds up. If you listen to Trump, he really buys Netanyahu's prevarications. And so I don't think Trump's a liar. I think Netanyahu, if Netanyahu tells the truth, it's just he wasn't concentrating hard enough. He made a mistake. But Trump certainly believes he's doing something good. So maybe we don't have all the intelligence. Maybe we don't know what's going on. But, it's two contradictory stories. Trump says we've almost won. Others say that Iran has almost endless supplies of these missiles to send at our bases. Who knows? And I'm at the point of being confused by what I should say, because when you're at war, you should at least stand with your country, I guess. But I agree with you, Pete. It's just horrible. And that's not the only girls that were killed. There were 20 women killed for the volleyball team. Trump did say he'd give refuge to the women's soccer team, football team, but Australia is sending back some portion of athletes. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of confusion, and Yeah, I don't know what to say. Um, it's Ramadan, so it's a terrible time to be doing this. It's Lent, so it's a terrible time. But it's what's in front of us, and there's probably going to be more people killed. You know, the women and the children killed in Gaza Strip is inexcusable, and that's gone on for decades. And now there's no place to live in Gaza Strip. Um, but somehow evil can take over human beings, and they can actually go to the top of walls and shoot children and women and men in the head and cheer. It's an evil that I hope never grabs me. But I guess we should all be on alert for it. Anyway, let's try to talk about Railtown. If oil prices go, I would imagine $100 now is probably needs to be adjusted for inflation. But let's say $150. If oil prices go there above it, the market's toast for a while, and we're going to be back to inflation. And your lives, you know, the people that have to drive 2 hours a day, you're not going to be able to afford it. It's nightmarish. So Trump must have an off ramp in mind. Um, and then you've got John Thune, who does not want to pass the Save America Act, which is essentially, as I understand it, it's three basic things. One is, in order to vote in federal elections, you have to have an ID. Well, I mean, you can't go into a bar without an ID. You can't get on a plane without an ID. You can't drive on the highway without an ID. You can't go into some events without IDs. So that seems reasonable to me. I think it also has a proviso that you're a citizen. Um, he might have to give up on that simply because it's hard to uh, uh, do a paper trail on that. Maybe, I don't know. He also is asking for no men in women's sports, which I don't understand why anybody's against that. But women are against that. Women are all for men coming into their sports. No one watches their sports anyway, so I guess they just have whatever they want. But it's all illogical. And then the final thing is he has in there is that states and schools cannot transition children without the parents' approval or knowledge, and that seems basic. But John Thune is going to prevent that from getting through. So the Republicans will lose the midterms. The Democrats will cheat, as they've cheated in the last 3 or 4 elections. And your future is AOC. So get your financial house in order. Get ready to be able to leave if you need to. I don't know. I'm not very optimistic after Trump goes what's ahead of us. All right. So now we're up to 121,000 shares. So what traded? 1,500 shares traded at 37.08. And 6,000 shares traded at 36.5. Those were both at 247. So the last trade is 37.08. All right, let's get off of mothers. Hey, Ricky. Ricky says, hi, William and everyone. Scott Day says, good for you, Scott. That's awesome. I think Barbara's supposed to add 800 today or something, 1200. Good job. Chestnut. Wow, Chestnut coming in strongly. Picked up 16,000 more. Wow. $148. That's an amazing position. Absolutely amazing. Congratulations. You know, I read something, I think I read it out to you, but it's something to bear in mind. And it makes sense because of how the markets are structured. But on these junior stocks, anything under $5, news rarely shows immediate results. I mean, it shows this a little bit of strengthening we're seeing. And of course, it popped and then they drove it down. And now, wow, 50,000 shares earlier went off at 37 cents. That's 50,000 is a nice trade. So what happens is the catch up to the news, the rallies are pretty violent and pretty swift once they happen. So it's great that you bought those shares. Others are buying. It's fantastic. Eddie Eagle, good day. Dollar Bill, hey, Fast Eddie. Eric Belanger, average at 51. Wow. Flirting with green right now. Good to see. See, that is what all of you are becoming, professional investors. If you know the story, you act on it. You can't always get the bottom and you can't always get the timing right. But you hit the ball as it lies or it lays. You can lie while you lay, but I never get it right. But anyway, you hit the ball as it lies. So you add to your position. You've got an average price now that's essentially green. And the trick is, of course, in this case, to recognize that Railtown is not, you know, a GTII or a CRTD. It's not a, you know, a flight of fancy stock. It's meaningful. So you took advantage of the lower prices, but just because it's green doesn't mean you have to listen to the bumper sticker advice. Um, you never go broke taking a profit. Well, bullshit. You go broke chasing profits. And if you take short profits and are afraid to take losses, you are going to go broke. So this is one to hold and make up all your losses. This is one to hold and make up all your losses. It's not one to, you know, not pay attention to, because we gotta make sure we stay in touch with the story. So, and just in case, you know, stories can change, things can change, but I don't see it right now. It's all good right now. Pat M, hi William and all. Hi Pat, Joe Marty. Good afternoon, Bill and RT crew. Hola. Pete the Greek, I saw a video. It was a Tomahawk missile. Yeah, exactly. A reporter asked that, and they said, well, Tomahawk missiles, we sell them around the world. It could have been any. I believe we did it. And I don't know that we did it on purpose, but we did it. And it's gut wrenching. These were 12-year-old girls. Just breaks your heart. Donna M., good afternoon. Jason Harbison, William, I'm at the sale barn buying some beautiful heifers today. Ward would be proud of you. Ward would say, get her done. That's what he'd say. He'd say, you don't have much time left. Silver Skyrocket, I have a nothing update for you. I'm at 80,000 shares. My sister sold her 20,000 because she couldn't handle it, but I bought up hers, so no change in the amount I represent. So now I'm confused. Between you, you have 100, or between you, you have 80. I have to look it up. I don't know if I can look it up. That's too bad she got out. It's too bad. But some people belong in mutual funds. And that's fine. I mean, I'm not, mutual funds have done well. All right, so it would be, I don't know how to do a spreadsheet, so I don't know how to alphabetize without screwing it up. So I have to go through, I always have to go up and down the whole list. And then even then, okay, there. That's funny. I have you down for 10,000. Let me make sure that I didn't set up a silver skyrocket separately. I might have. No, it doesn't look like I did. Doesn't look like I did. I could be looking at an old spreadsheet, so let me try again. See if it refreshed. Yeah, I have you for 10,000. Well, I'll fix it tonight. I'm just going to try to go through it again to make sure I didn't break you into two separate names. Because that's a big difference. I don't know why I would not have that down. But I don't. So That's a that's a big update as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to assume you're at 80,000 with your sister, not 100,000. I'm sorry, she. If it works, make sure you buy her something nice. Silver Skyrocket. Hello, everyone. She bought at 50 and held the round trip down to 38 and back. Definitely not with not for everyone. Silver Skyrocket. All right, there it is. I was happy with 60, but now I'm happy to have 80. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Pete the Greek, I'm working in my Greek passport. Both parents are from Sparta. I spent 6 here and 6 in Greece. Wow. I've never been to Sparta. I've been to Athens a few times. Control F. All right, I'll try that. Try that. Last time I had 10,000 was a year ago when the AIP news was first announced. Silver Skyrocket, great bonus shares to add to the grand total. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Unless I'm missing a Silver Skyrocket somewhere, I'll look tonight. But yeah, glad to help. Yeah, 80,000 my yes, she knows I'll share. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's stressful. But that Silver Skyrocket, that is what charts are designed to show you. She's not alone. When someone buys it at, let's say, 38 cents and it goes to 60 and it or something, and then it comes back, sells down to 44 range, and he starts getting the sense that this isn't working. It's probably time to give up on it. And then next day it collapses to 28 on its way to 25. The chart is a measure of when it finally gets back to that 44-cent range, he's likely to sell because he's just sick of it. And it feels like doing something. It's the hardest thing in the market is once you buy it, you shouldn't be doing anything. It'd be better to go play cards or, but anyway, that's what the charts try to show is like your sister. It gets back to break even. Oh, I got my money back. And it's not an unusual reaction. It's not an unusual reaction at all. Let me see. We got a little time. Let's see what the stock is doing. I'll try to go through those 10 stocks if I can find the article on here. 36.55. Somebody had to sell, just had to get out of 1,751. So they're still playing with it. There's our friend with 52,500 for sale. Poor guy never pulls the trigger. He's always got 52,500 for sale. At some point, he's going to have to make a real decision. Where would that be? Oh, I know. Okay. Maybe it's in my email. Skyrockets at night. Afternoon delight. I don't know if they sent it to me. So I will have to, I don't know how to find those. I guess that article I just showed you, I guess I'll just go find it by going Telus and then going news. And there's AOL.com. I just read the story to you. And then here, all right, so I have to give my email again. All right, it says check your email, but I didn't see it in there. So now I have it though here. And obviously this guy is promotional, but it's interesting. These are his 10 stocks for the AI time. This report represents the most comprehensive look at AI infrastructure investing anywhere. This isn't just about NVIDIA anymore. This is about an entire value chain that needs to be built. High bandwidth memory, optical networking, data center interconnects, custom AI chips, semiconductor equipment, edge infrastructure. And I think that's where we are, edge infrastructure. But it also might be the next thing. And the software platforms, that might be we, that will run the agentic AI economy. These are the 10 stocks I'm betting 500,000 of my own money on. Must be nice. The first one is Credo Technology. They design active electrical cables. That's an interesting idea. It's $2.8 billion market cap. His price target is $250, and it's $187 now. But it came up from, it looks like from under $10 to get there. Active electrical cables. Then Sienna manufactured data center interconnect equipment. His target is $240 there. It's a $4 trillion company. And then Lumentum, $200 stock. They manufacture lasers which power optical transceivers in data centers. It's a pure play. And that's a bottleneck. Broadcom, $450 target. Micron Technologies, $300 target. High bandwidth memories like the corners of your mind. $200 target for Lam Research. Manufactures the etching and deposition equipment required to produce high bandwidth memory. I got a lot of memories etched. Cloudflare, edge computing, web security, and AI inference at the edge. I've been to the edge, babe. And there I stood and looked down. You know, you may have something I want, babe, but I've got something you need. Ain't talking about love. Fabrinet, it gets rid of static electricity in your laundry. Snowflake, these are all huge companies. It's the base layer for the agentic economy. AI needs to go where data already lives. That is Snowflake's entire thesis. NVIDIA designs GPUs. This is my highest conviction AI holding. The Blackwell Catalyst. I'm investing my own money in all 10 of these stocks. This isn't a theoretical portfolios. These are real positions with real capital on the line. The AI infrastructure build out is a multi-year story, so I'll be tracking these positions closely. Anyway, pretty boring, I actually thought. All right, I don't know what else to talk about. We have half an hour. And I've been repeating myself for so long. Darling, it's not true. I wanted a woman, never bargained for you. $36.5 to $37.4. And they're starting to really move that ask around. So I wouldn't be surprised if the stock closed at 37 cents today, but who knows? 123,000 shares. I don't know. I really don't know what else to talk about. If somebody has a topic, I'll be glad to talk about. The weather's nice. We have to get outside and enjoy it. Let me see if there's any new news on the war. Whatever you do, don't mention the war. So the Iranian government says any nation who expels the United States and Israeli ambassadors from their country will be allowed to navigate oil out the Strait of Hormuz. Australia does grant asylum to members of the Iranian women's soccer team. One player makes last-minute plea as players return home. Megyn Kelly blasts Lindsey Graham as a homicidal maniac with a bloodlust which is insatiable. Wow, Megyn. I know a little bit about your background too. Ooh. This is what RFK said. In a million years, I would not take the flu, thing. And I'll tell you why, because People who take the flu thing are protected against that strain of flu, but they're 4.4 times more likely to get a non-flu infection. And you might find, and a lot of people do, that after that they get the flu thingamajig, then they get sick. They're not usually getting the flu. They're getting something indistinguishable from the flu, because the thing gives you something called pathogenic priming. If it injures your immune system, such that you're more likely to get a non-flu viral upper respiratory infection. And the Pentagon published a story by Wolfe, Wolfe. It primes you for flu and it primes you for corona, the other thing. 36 more likely to get the other thing. And that's not a lone study. We found 6 other major studies that say the same thing. If you get the flu thing, you're more likely to get the other thing. But YouTube's run by women, so you can't talk about anything. Anyway, let's move on from that because there's nothing to learn. Staggering number of U.S. troops wounded in Trump's Iran war. Well, I don't know if that's true. More than 140 U.S. troops have been wounded. It's a lot, but is it staggering? Wall Street fires warning to Trump that could shatter his prized legacy. I don't know. I don't see any real worthy news here. All right, let me see what else is here, if anybody said anything. Richard K. Maybe we'll hit 30 cents this week. I think we already did. The stock is currently 36.55, so we definitely hit 30 cents. Or 39. Oh, so you're being negative. I would say let's look at the chart. I didn't make a new one, but we could do it right. We could look at it right now. I don't think it's going to 30 cents. I think you're dreaming if you think there's a high probability. I mean, any stock can go down, but I think you're dreaming if you're hoping to get it at 30 cents. 30 cents is the 50-day moving average, or let me make sure, it might be the 20-day. No, it is the 50-day moving average. And that's right at 29.3 right now. The 20-day moving average is 33.2. And the stock is definitely climbing Ricky's purple line. That's all it's doing. It's higher lows, every day it's higher lows. And I think right now it's just shy of testing for the, I'll say the third time, breaking 40 cents, 39.40. And there's enough there to say that some people might count it as the second time. So my guess is it'll go up to the 40-cent range, 40, 41 cents, and pull back, but maybe not a lot, because that Ricky's line is going to be going up as well. But the computers will test to see if that 40 cent, that 200-day moving average, will become support. It was support at the end of November at around 41 cents. And there was a lot of activity from most of November and pretty much end of October, most of November, in the 41 to 46 range. And that's when it broke down. And that's when I think one person got a little pissed off with me. It is now going to have to come and get through that. And there may be people that get out in the 42, 44 cent range. It'd be like your sister, Skyrocket. You shouldn't get out. You shouldn't get out. This is a very strong chart. I don't know if I can make a chart without losing you guys. Let me just see if I can try it. Let me see if I can try it. Why doesn't that work? Probably because it ran out of juice. So let me see what else I have here. All right, let's see if that'll save. Probably lost everybody. All right, let me see if I can show you this. It's not the best picture. Never is, right? Right now, Ricky's line is blue. That is a very strong climbing the wall of worry. And I don't think you're going to see it below that blue line for a long time. And I drew two black circles, but I erased one and put a purple one there because the black one was so big. But those two black circles show where the stock has tried to break through either the low end of this green horizontal, this very thick green horizontal line I drew, or trying to get through the 200-day moving average. The all black one, some people would say that I'm reaching, that's not really an attempt to go higher and it's not meeting resistance. I don't know. You may or may not agree with me. I count it as one. I count the one when they made the announcement about the Steely Dan duo when it poked its head up. I count that as the second try. And now it's doing this steady climb. And if you see it get above 40, 41 range, they're going to try to drive it back down. But notice how Ricky's trend line is climbing. So it's not going to be all that effective, I don't think. That'll be the third time that, in my judgment, that the stock has tried to break through this resistance, the green line, the low end of the green line. And sometimes the third time's the charm, sometimes it's the fourth time. But either the third or fourth time, I think it'll decisively break through 40 cents. The bid will be through 40. It'll be through 41. And for purists, you might want it to get above 46. But I think once it's above 41, 42 on the bid with volume, this lower end of this green line will become support. And all this underneath it, you won't see again in your lifetime. You'll never see it again. So I think your window to buy it is closing. Obviously, anything can happen at any time. There can be spikes downward. But in general, I think your window is as the stock climbs this Ricky's trend line and forms a pennant, if you want to call it that, with the horizontal resistance, whether you want to say it's 40 cents or 46 cents or in between. Once you get through this green line, once the stock goes above what's that top number? I think it's 46. I can't read it. I can see it over here. Yeah, it's about 46, 45 and a half here. Once it goes above there with the bid, you're not seeing anything down here again. And I think it has to happen. This blue line will come up and this green line will come out. I think it has to happen within the next week or so. But I could be wrong. That's how I call it. It's a very strong pattern. If you want to be more conservative, you could say that the breakout is at the 39-cent level. But anyway, that's just being you know, more accurate than it's worth. 36.5 by 37.4. That poor guy with 52.5. He's got to find a new profession. So, Richard K., I think it'll be 39. You say this week? I don't know if it'll hit 39 this week, but I think over the next short period of time, it's going to hit 39. I think it's going to hit 39 before you ever see 30 cents again. And like I just showed you, I think once it's through somewhere in the 44, 45, 46 range on volume, the bids through it, I don't think you see anything under 40 cents, under 45 cents again, unless it's a spike, a temporary spike. But you're running out of time. It's see how this is here? It's just like this. We're somewhere in the middle here. But as soon as it gets through the top line and Ricky's trend line, it's either going to break to the upside or to the downside. Either way it breaks, it's going to move. My guess is it's not breaking to the downside. So as the window narrows, ever narrows, as the stock climbs Ricky's trend line and it bumps up against this 200-day moving average, this resistance, I think it's going to bust out. That becomes support, and it goes. And I think I've given you my numbers, but I think it goes to 70 cents right away. And then it might hesitate there, but I doubt it. And then it busticates up to 120, pulls back to 90. It just does this lurching upward and pulling back until it will not be denied. And I think once it hits $5 or $6, it will not be denied. And you could suddenly, oddly, counterintuitively, once it hits 550, it could go to 10 or 12 in 48 hours because everybody can buy. Or put it another way, it'll go where analysts think it should go in a couple of days. I don't know if they'll think it should go to 12. Maybe they say 9 or 10. But it'll happen very quickly, I think. So we're 36.5 to 37.4, 33 by 52.5. That poor guy. You got to give him credit for trying. He's been trying to sell that 52.5 for 9 months. Julius asked, do you think next week will be a good week? I don't know for sure. My opinion is they being Telus, they being NVIDIA, they being the Canadians in general, they being perhaps one of these analyst firms that wants to hit the ground running. There is no better audience. It's like a national convention for politics. This is the time to tell your story. And I think it'll happen either this week before it or during that convention. But, a guy I respect tells me there's no connection. So I don't know. It's just my opinion that next week is as good a time if you're going to get a message out. You get a lot of free publicity and there's a lot of buzz. And so, yes, I would think next week is a good target for a good week. But it may be there. The bearish case in terms of short-term moves is maybe Rail Engine and whatever the hell thing is not ready yet. Maybe the NVIDIA stack isn't ready to go yet. And maybe it all gets moved to April. but they could start talking about it next week. So, there could be natural, hey, honey, are you ready to go? I've been waiting for half an hour. I just got to get my lipstick on. Why is it taking so long? I'll be right down. It's just the normal waiting that things happen. But I would guess if next week's not a good week, I think it's going to be the last 1 or 2 weeks that we have to wait. I think obviously, if nothing happens next week or the following week, my inclination to believe that the first quarter mattered to these public service announcement type firms like Telus, it'll show I was wrong. But they can't go through the whole second quarter without acting, and I think they can't wait once they're in the second quarter. So I'd say yes, next week is going to be a good week. But if it's not, I'd say at the most we have to wait till Easter. And then I think it's going to be good for sunshine from there on. I don't know why I keep making predictions, because I've been wrong all along, but I that's what the chart's saying. That's what the common sense is saying. It's time to get this party started. Ward Richardson. Good afternoon, William and RT crew. Pick up some cash cows today. No more time here. Tick tock, tick tock. By the way, those 10 stocks you read off, he's a day late and $1 short on those picks. No kidding. They're all $250 a share. Believe it or not, I think Railtown has an outside chance of being a $250 stock per share. But the most likely thing is it'll happen inside of somebody else's belly. But you're right, Ward. Those are all very late calls on his part. They're all the safe line. All right. We're about to close. Last trade 37. I told you I thought it would close at 37. Hasn't quite yet, but last trade 37 cents. 36 to 37, 39, 156,034. Last trade 500 shares at 37, and it closed there. And then somehow they got a trade off extra hours that was down 0.0001. So it looks like the stock closed at 37 in the red, but in fact, it closed at 37 in the green, up over a penny. God, they play such games. Man, they play games. $500 shares did that, 37. There was a trade prior to that, 1,500 shares at 37.33. Well, it looks like they had a bunch in a row. 485 at 37, 250 at 37.31, 1,500 at 37.33, and 500 at 37. So that was a good read on the chart today. Help closed at 104, Railtown 37, Finger at 119, GDC at 390, 3.905. Nixie closed at 53.97. And the Dow closed slightly in the red, NASDAQ slightly in the green, S&P slightly in the red. And let's see what Jack has to say. Good afternoon, Mr. William, Donna, and all RT members. Still slowly chipping in. Please add 209. Donna's not going to speak to you when you surpass her. She's going to say, she's going to be very happy if you pass her. I'm impressed to everybody. That's great, Jack, what you've been doing in front of our eyes. Every day you've been building it, and you are going to catch up with Donna. Maybe. Close enough. Add 209. 95. 454. Awesome. Bravo. Bravo. And Ricky is right. The purple line keeps moving up. That's right. And that comes from the chart that you noticed that on. Where is it? Here? Yeah, there. That's where you noticed it. And you're exactly right. It's what it's been doing. You see the 200-day moving average here and where the price is? Well, here's the one I just did. The 200-day moving average is there, and now see how close the price is to that. I changed the color to blue just because I couldn't find the purple for that pen choice. Yeah, I think we might not have much longer to wait. And I think Ward's encouragement to everybody is correct. I don't think there's a lot of time to dilly-dally in the valley. All right. Let me just see if there's any more. Otherwise, I think I'm going to sign off early. I've just run out of things to talk about, and I don't want to waste your time. Soon we'll have more than we can stand to talk about. Alina Haba divorces her husband. My dad would say, Haba, Haba. I'm sure he would. Not out in public. He would just say it, sitting at the table when it was just, me or one or two people. He'd be sensitive. All right. I'm going to call it there. Go out, have fun, enjoy outside. I think we're at the point where this is going to take care of itself. The only thing to do right now is to buy. And I really think you have to resist the urge to sell when you break even, because my judgment, anything that makes this $1 makes it $5. Anything that makes it $5 could make it 15 plus or minus 5. And there's no reason that's the stopping point either. Did I reach my goal amount to send to the gold company? I actually tried some more today, but the system's down, so I'm going to go in person tomorrow morning. I wired my goal. My mini maxi was sort of 50,000 to 120,000. And I wired Monday, I wired 50,000. And today I tried to wire I think it's 17.5 more. But the system wouldn't work. It's probably something I did wrong. I don't know. It's all these new mechanisms. So I'll go in the morning and wire that. So that's kind of in the middle of my range. I still have about 8 people, one new person to call, and hopefully we can get it over 100,000. I'd love to get it to 120, 150, because that's meaningful for the company. Um, uh, but I need to make, I left it over there, my list. I need to follow up with about 8 people. And once I bug people maybe one more time, we'll see where it is, and then we'll cap it. Um, it may be a case that if Railtown moves quickly enough, that I'll make another effort to see if, as a group, there's an interest to do a significant number, because it's something we may be able to claim for ourselves. There, ironically, not ironically, that's the wrong word, fortuitously, another friend of mine in the business called me day before yesterday, and I have another project that um, is seeking money, but it's already producing, and there's other there's other investors circling around. So I'm glad he called me, but it may be somebody else already claimed it. But it's a pretty it's got historic production to verify what I think they're going to be able to do. They'll do about I better not say it because I'm sure I'm going to get it wrong, but basically they'll produce, it's up in the Rocky Mountains, so as soon as the snow melts, they need money to get it back operating. They do it every winter, after every winter, but the season goes through Thanksgiving. And it's a good opportunity maybe to bring in gold production as an offset to this company. It's kind of a hedge. Um, I'm excited about it, and I'll probably do it as a separate offering. Um, but I'll think about maybe how you want to keep them separate, but there might be a way I could do something either with my part to put it in. I don't know. I'll figure out how to do that. Alex, usually the U.S. price is up, the Canadian price is down, or vice versa. Today they're both up. I think they filed yesterday, Alex. They filed a final, it looks like to me, the final piece of paperwork on that offering. They've done a bunch of regulatory cleanup. They seem to have their advisory board in place. To me, it looks like Ethofsio with the banker, which isn't necessarily bad, but it just means the exclusivity is probably gone, which is good for us. It means they can have a lot of different relationships with research and bankers. So I think it's getting ready, and you're starting to see it in the price action in the stock. I agree with you. Ward Richardson, if anything, put 500,000 on Micron. Out of all those, now I lost it. Let me see if I can go back to that list. Of course, I screwed up. I didn't save it. All right, here, Micron, is that one of them? NVIDIA. Snowflake. Cloudflare. The Llama is a Micron Technology. Manufactures high bandwidth memory by stacking DRAM chips vertically. One of only 3 companies globally that can produce HBM at scale. The others are SK Hynix and Samsung. AI chips need dramatically more memory bandwidth than traditional applications. The high bandwidth memory market is growing from 4 billion to 100 billion by 28. Micron trades at just 13x forward earnings despite 40% revenue growth. I mean, it's already $223. I've followed semiconductors for 15 years. Good on you. And memory has always been the worst business in the industry. NVIDIA's latest AI chips need memory that traditional DRAM can't provide. Over 20 years, we've improved memory 128-fold, but bandwidth, we've only improved 20-fold. That gap is the bottleneck killing AI performance. High bandwidth memory solves this by stacking chips vertically. The numbers are staggering. Micron trades at 13 times forward earnings. I swear this was written by AI. Joe Marty, thank you. Any more interest from the new larger investors? Yeah, they're there. They're there. But I don't, my sense is a lot of people are waiting for Railtown, and that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I'm just going to go forward steadily, and hopefully something breaks. Yeah, I don't know. Right now, I don't have a strategy other than making my phone calls, trying to get as much in right now, and following up on the bigger amounts. Joe Marty, last question. Any progress from 2 new larger? Yeah, I think so. I mean, the story hasn't changed. I think they're in the same boat as all of us. I think in many ways everything's been on hold for Railtown. And I think people are going to be surprised how quickly Railtown snaps. It's a shame because in a way I would have liked to build a larger position, but we've done pretty well. And this number will be bigger. This number will be bigger tomorrow. 18,292,000. But remember, what I'm trying to do with the gold company is to empower the company. It's also to make sure that there's no predatory situation. And then what would be great is to be able to be the ones that are able to fill out the financing. That would be great. So someone's calling me on my personal loan request. I never requested a personal loan. Yeah, thank you. I'll try to get an update out to everybody once. It's really on me to finish those 8 or 10 phone calls, which I'll do. I thought I'd get it done last night. I didn't. Thought I would get some done during the day today. I didn't. Maybe later tonight I'll get some of it off. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. 417. I wish everyone well. Pray for peace in the world. Pray for the little girls who were killed. Pray they go to heaven, but pray for their families as well. Pray for children on both sides, all sides. We can at least agree on that. And I also pray that each of you have peace tonight, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Ciao.